What are you doing in April 2024? Well, why not come and join me and just an amazing array of fellow gamers, DMs, and creators in the most spectacular venue possibly imaginable for a game of Dungeons & Dragons. Head on over to the website dndinacastle.com and book your space today. It is mind-blowing. I really have never ever had a better experience in role-playing than I have had at the castle. You get 3 days of insane role-playing with a GM of your choice. You can game with me, you can game with just about anybody. Book now to make sure that you get your seat. This is the pinnacle of role-playing. D&D in a castle, folks. It is what it is, and it's amazing. So I got a list of 100 warm-up questions to ask your character. What? Hello and welcome to this week's episode of How to Be a Great GM. My name is Guy, and we are looking at a list that I was sent, and I have put the list for the link down below for the website so that you can go and check out the website, show them some love. And it is a 100 questions to warm up your character, so you get to know your character before you start playing your game. And I looked at this list and I thought, wow, 100 questions. Admittedly, I would say it's probably more like 80 because there are some in there that are very close to being repetitious. Anyway, it's still 80 questions. It's like, well, I said you should look at like 5 or 6. What the hell are these other 80? And then I thought, but how does this actually help the DM in any way, shape, or form? I mean, as a DM, you go, yeah, go answer 100 questions. I could care less. Maybe we should care. And what can we get out of them? So I went through this list of 100 and I randomly chose one every like 10 to 20 questions because some of them are quite interesting and do lead to some actually useful stuff for the GM. We just have to open our little minds to some influence, eh? Okay, so let's move on very, very quickly. Item number 1. Who in the party would your character trust the most with their life? Now, of course, the immediate question is not who's the healer in the party, who's going to give me my life back, because that's kind of not the same as trusting your life with. Trusting your life with is with someone who may or may not actually be able to look after you. Often we see this, oh, I trust you with my life. Why? He's not a trained medic. He has no medicine or field skills whatsoever. At best, he can shoot things.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
So if you get shot, he's not really the ideal person to be with. You're hoping that no one shoots you because he shot them already. So who is the person that you trust, that you implicitly trust and will follow their lead wherever they might go? It's an interesting question for the players to ask. But what about the GMs? What can GMs do to drive this question a little bit further? So say, for example, you've given these questionnaires to your players and they've answered them all and you get this feedback. Well, the first thing that you do, of course, is who would you trust with your life? Make sure that you separate those two characters in combat or in a situation. So they're trying to trust each other with their lives. You separate them, or better yet, you set them against each other. A rogue element steals from the one and puts the stolen items into the other. It's not malicious. Well, maybe it is malicious. It's not intentional on your behalf to put these two against each other. Well, no, actually it is intentional. You want to do this to create some conflict, to shake that foundation a little bit, to explore what happens. Once they discover, of course, that it is a third party who's doing this, well, then they work together again. It gives you a little opportunity for a side adventure that you didn't have before. Number 2, does your character ever want to settle down, get married, have some kids, grandkids maybe? What exactly is their future plan? Well, that's an interesting one. I don't know of many players who actually think of what their character's future is going to look like. I don't know of many humans who know what their future is going to look like. Do you want to settle down? Yes and no. But yes. I'm saying no, but I mean yes. Kinda. Do you want to have kids? No, definitely not. Not at all. As a real live human being, I don't. As a character, do I want to have kids? Well, I mean, what does that really have to do with the game? Surely that's sort of future kind of stuff. Well, as a player, it gives you conversational stuff to have around the campfire. It also gives you some interesting opportunities if you meet someone whom you think your character might see as a potential spouse to settle down with. That might change how your adventure goes. That's all very powerful, wonderful role-playing stuff that you can draw on. As a DM, it's an even greater opportunity. Because if you learn that one of the players is perhaps thinking of settling down, well, why don't you have the next prince, princess, or whatever they want to call themselves at the next castle fall madly in love with the one character who does want to settle down, and then who offers them the opportunity.
Join me, and together we can rule the together we can have happy children.
By then presenting the player character with the opportunity of settling down, you establish some kind of conflict. And of course, if the player is worried that their character genuinely would accept it and would actually settle down, well, of course, that particular individual who made that offer in the first place is after their true blood, or perhaps they're just using them to get a firstborn that they can then sacrifice on Tuesday at the local Walmart. Whatever. I mean, it's about finding this path that leads to an interesting side adventure from these. So technically speaking, if you look at that list of 100 questions, it's also 100 potential adventures that you can throw in to your game. Number 3. What is your character most insecure about? What exactly was the relationship between you and your mother? Was it good? Was it bad? Did you hate your father? So, what is your character most insecure about? Well, I'm most insecure about my character's inability to cast magic. It's a wonderful opportunity as a player to explore some options as the DM, but of course, you will have an adventure based around that insecurity. Oh, I'm insecure that I'm not actually a very good adventurer. Great! So when the entire party is abducted and stolen, and it is just this one character who has to now face this entire seemingly impossible situation, they will overcome it. They will realize that their insecurity was actually all in their little head. They really were making all of this stuff up. What a wonderful journey, not only for the adventuring party, but for you as a DM. Beautiful side quest, beautiful side quest. Okay, number 4 is a doozy. It's a doozy, so hold on to your hats. What does your character, or who does your character admire the most within the party? Okay, who do they admire the most? Like, you're awesome. No, you're awesomer. No, you're super awesome. Well, you got so many awesomes, you couldn't fit enough sums in your awe. What? Who does your character most admire the most within the party? It's not who do they trust with their life. Who do they admire? Well, this is role-playing gold straight away. The player characters can have all of this kind of stuff. I secretly admire the wizard because of all of his powers and that kind of stuff. Brilliant, wonderful, beautiful, excellent. What's the adventure for the DMs that they can throw in this? Character swap. An evil little sprite swaps the minds of the player characters around from one body to another, and then you get to play the character you admire the most, and it's just going to be glorious, chaotic fun and evil. Because if they don't get themselves back into their correct bodies within 24 hours, they will permanently be stuck there. Gold. And who even thinks of those kind of adventures? I mean, this is just because of a question that was asked of the player character. Swap them around, swap their bodies around, put them in different bodies. Okay, well, you wake up one day and you're no longer the elf, you're now troll. Number 5. What is waiting for your character in the afterlife when they die? Where are they going? Are they doomed to hell? Perhaps it is an eternity of gorging on amazing food, which I have to tell you, after a while, not going to be so amazing anymore. Unless you forget that you've been eating on the food and then you have a whole new meal all over again, in which case it's an eternity of forgetfulness. As a player character, it's an interesting idea. Of course, your setting will have a whole bunch of descriptions. Does your player character believe that? On this planet alone, we've got thousands of options of what's going to happen to us when we finally die. Some are pleasant, some are unpleasant, some just bring us back again to face it all over again. Others, it's just oblivion and there is nothing else afterwards. We all have so many different thoughts. So what is your character's thoughts on the matter? If it's, oh, I think we're going to go to hell, well, why do you think that? Well, because we went there last week, Tuesday. The idea is your character's going to have something. So obviously, as the DM, let me hear you say it. What are we doing? Where are the player characters going? Hint, it's to the afterlife so they can get a sense of what is actually going to happen. So they can see what is actually happening. Nothing like being hit with Valhalla full in the face to realize, you know what, it's a silly place. Let's not go there. Anyway, those are my 5 questions that got me thinking and that got me creating amazing and awesome side adventures, which are really, really fun and which came out of asking these questions. Never, ever look a gift horse in the mouth, so they say. And in this case, when your players are writing down things, when they are answering questions, you as the DM should be looking at what those answers are and creating adventures out of them, because they are literally just giving you all of the work done. And you just have to fill in the blanks. Let me know what you think of this video. Hit the like button if you liked it, if it caught your attention, or if it makes you think just for a moment you should look more at those character backstories or at the questions that they are answering, then hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Why not? Costs you nothing and means everything to us. Until next week, I wish you and yours the happiest of gaming!